Once upon a time, along the fertile plains of the Indus and Saraswati rivers, a civilization rose that would rival any ancient culture on Earth. The Indus Valley Civilization, with its awe-inspiring urban planning, clean drainage systems, trade networks, and non-theocratic governance, quietly pioneered much of what the modern world considers advanced. And yet, thousands of years later, the land that once gave birth to this legacy now struggles with systemic collapse, chaos, and contradiction. What happened between the architectural symmetry of Dholavira and the traffic-choked lanes of Delhi? Between the strategic brilliance of Chanakya and the modern policy paralysis? This essay seeks to scientifically and historically explore the profound collapse of India's civilizational momentum, from its glorious ancient roots to its modern-day systemic disarray. The Indus Valley Civilization, dating from 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE, is perhaps the most underrated ancient civilization in mainstream narratives. With cities like Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa, and Dholavira, the Indus Valley Civilization showcased an urban sophistication that included standardized weights, grid-based cities, multi-storied houses, centralized granaries, and a remarkably effective drainage system, all without any visible signs of monarchy or organized religion. What does this tell us? It reveals a civilization based on rationality, communal organization, and decentralized administration, the very pillars modern governance claims to uphold. Their script, still undeciphered, is among the last great mysteries of the ancient world. The Indus Valley Civilization declined possibly due to tectonic shifts, drying rivers, and ecological degradation, not war. It's ironic, the world's most peaceful, scientifically aligned civilization may have succumbed to nature, while its descendants now suffer from man-made disasters. Post-Indus Valley India saw a shift, from urban rationalism to rural spiritualism. The Vedic era from 1500 BCE to 600 BCE introduced sacred texts like the Rigveda, emphasizing cosmic order or arte, sacrificial rituals known as yajna, and oral traditions. This was not regression but transformation. Knowledge morphed into metaphysics. The Ashvamedha horse sacrifice, astronomical calculations, and elaborate fire altars were, reflections of both spiritual and scientific understanding. But over centuries the metaphors ossified. Scientific inquiry gave way to orthodoxy. The pursuit of truth became a pursuit of ritual. A civilization that once looked at the stars to understand time started, fearing eclipses as bad omens. The Mauryan Empire, which lasted from 322 BCE to 185 BCE, was India's answer to Rome. Under Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya, and later Ashoka, India built roads, established a central currency, ensured welfare policies, and even had espionage networks. Chanakya's Arthashastra remains one of the oldest treatises on statecraft. The Gupta Empire, which spanned from 320 CE to 550 CE, saw a golden age of art, science, mathematics, and medicine. Aryabhata proposed heliocentrism and calculated pi, Sushruta performed cataract surgeries, Kalidasa's poetry rivaled Homer. Nalanda University, founded in the 5th century, attracted scholars from Korea to Greece, offering logic, linguistics, medicine, and astronomy, centuries before Oxford. So, where did it all go wrong? The seeds of civilizational rupture were sown through repeated invasions: Persian, Greek, Hun, Arab, Turkic, and Mongol. Each brought violence, plunder, and a gradual erosion of civilizational confidence. The destruction of Nalanda by Bakhtiyar Khilji in the 12th century was symbolic, a burning of books, ideas, and pride. These invasions replaced open inquiry with dogma, pluralism with paranoia, and eroded native institutions. Temples, libraries, and universities were razed. A civilization of order and discourse was forcibly mutated into one of survival. The British Raj did not just loot wealth, it engineered a complete civilizational amnesia. Macaulay's infamous Minute on Education in 1835 aimed to create a class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect. They succeeded. India's indigenous educational systems were dismantled. The caste system was rigidified, not reformed. Scientific temper was replaced by clerical thinking. The British trained Indians to be obedient servants, not sovereign thinkers. By the time India gained independence in 1947, the damage was civilizational. We had lost not just power, but purpose. The tragedy of independent India, lies in its inability to reconnect with its civilizational roots. Instead of rebuilding Nalanda, we built bureaucracies, and instead of reviving dharmic ethics, we imported Western legal systems. Our constitution is modern, but our mindset, well, it still remains colonized. Democracy without a literate, ethically grounded population honestly becomes mob rule. Electoral politics became caste-driven, issue-blind, and media-manipulated. Institutions were politicized and corruption became normalized. India became a democracy in form, but a chaos in function. Modern India's educational collapse is not just about syllabus, it's about philosophy too. Ancient Indian education prioritized holistic development, intellectual, ethical, and spiritual. Nalanda didn't produce job seekers, it produced thinkers. Today's schools prioritize exams over understanding, memorization over curiosity. The result? A population that can recite definitions but not solve problems. The IITs and IIMs produce brilliant individuals but rarely visionaries who challenge the system. Dholavira had underground water reservoirs, ventilation-based architecture, and waste segregation. In 2500 BCE, modern Indian cities? Overpopulated, underplanned, with broken roads, air pollution, and garbage mountains. How did we regress so far? The answer lies in a broken civic culture, absence of accountability, and policy made for headlines, not habitats. We build statues and highways, but not clean air or dignity of space. Colonialism didn't end in 1947, it just changed forms. Today, many Indians view English as intelligence, foreign degrees as credibility, and Western culture as progress. Our cinema, fashion, and even weddings, well, they mimic the West. This inferiority complex is, honestly, the most dangerous fallout of our betrayal. It ensures that even when we produce genius, we end up seeking validation from Harvard or the BBC. We mistrust our own greatness, a true sign of colonized minds. Yes, but only if we stop with these cosmetic reforms and actually start civilizational rebuilding. We must first revive true education, rooted in inquiry, not indoctrination. Second, reform democracy, with ethical, literate leadership. Third, decolonize the mind, learn Sanskrit, read original texts, trust Indian knowledge systems. Fourth, build beautiful cities, functional, aesthetic, sustainable. And fifth, reconnect with Dharma, not as religion, but as ethical order. India's rise cannot be just economic, it must be civilizational. That means, combining the wisdom of our past with the tools of the future. The fall of Indian civilization was not inevitable, it was engineered, ignored, and finally accepted. But history need not be destiny. The Indus Valley people engineered cities 5,000 years ago. Nalanda hosted scholars before Europe even had universities. Chanakya outwitted Alexander's successors. Aryabhata calculated eclipses without telescopes. This is not a poor country trying to grow. This is a betrayed civilization trying to remember. And when it does, the world will remember too.